In the last class I had explained stiffness matrix. I will start now flexibility matrix. Stiffness is K equals to P by delta, and flexibility is, this is stiffness, and flexibility is just inverse of K, that is stiffness, that is delta by P. So how you can form or you can develop a flexibility matrix for a given continuous beam or any structure, I will explain in today's class. Okay. So stiffness matrix is a displacement method, okay, and flexibility matrix is a force method. Okay, always you remember that. In stiffness matrix we determine displacement, we are interested to determine the displacement. In flexibility matrix we deal with the force, we are more interested to determine the forces in various member. Okay. So before explaining the flexibility matrix, I would like to explain what is conjugate beam method and how you can find out the reaction using conjugate beam method. Okay. So here I have taken three cases. These cases is important and essential to analyze a continuous beam by flexibility method. Okay. So if a span AB is subjected to P at midpoint, the M by EI diagram will be like this. So you have to find out RA and RB. Okay. So RA equals to RB equals to the area of this triangle. Area of this triangle will be how much? Half into base into altitude. Altitude is M by EI. So this is the area, and this load will be divided by RA and RB. So divided by 2. So RA equals to RB equals to half L into M by EI by 2. Okay. In second case, while it is subjected to uniformly distributed load, this is the M by EI diagram, the bending moment will be parabolic. So I have to find out what is the area of this parabola. So area of the parabola will be like this. Say RA equals to RB equals to 2/3 of L into M by EI. This is L, this is M by EI. So 2/3 of this will be the 2/3 of this rectangle will be the area of the parabola. So 2/3 into L into M by EI will be total area of the parabola, and area of the parabola and RA and RB you have to calculate. So divided by 2. So you will get RA equals to RB equals to this divided by 2. Okay. In third case, if a beam is subjected to varying load, this is M by EI and this is 0. So how will you calculate RA and RB? Say, see here, this distance will be, the CG distance will be at 1/3 of L from A support and 2/3 of L from B support. So you can calculate RA equals to, first find out the area of the triangle, that is half into L, half into base into altitude. So half into base is L, altitude is M by EI into this distance. While you are calculating RA, multiply this distance, that is 2/3, not L, don't write L here, only write 2/3. And while you are calculating RB, simply you calculate the total area of the triangle, that is half into base into altitude, that is half into L into M by EI into this distance, that is 1/3, don't write L. Okay, always remember. So in this way I can calculate RA and RB when a beam is subjected to varying load. Okay. So here one problem is given, analyze the continuous beam using flexibility method. Here is a continuous beam is, here a continuous beam is given, AB is subjected to UDL and BC is subjected to 100 kilonewton at its midpoint. So I have drawn the figure here. A beam is subjected to uniformly distributed load. The first beam AB is subjected to UDL, and second beam BC or second span BC is subjected to point load 100 kilonewton at its midpoint. Okay. So first step is you have to find out the static indeterminacy. You can remember in case of stiffness matrix, you have to calculate the kinematic indeterminacy, but here you have to calculate the static indeterminacy. How will you calculate the static indeterminacy? You can calculate the static indeterminacy in this way. Just see, at this fixed support, what are the reactions are there? One vertical, one horizontal, and one rotation. At roller support B, one vertical, and roller support C, one vertical. So total unknown is 3 plus 2 is 5. So I have 5 unknown, and I know the equations of equilibrium is 3. So the number of redundancy, or the number of redundant, or the degree of static indeterminacy equals to 5 minus 3 equals to 2. Okay, you can calculate using the formula, or you can calculate using this concept. Okay, so I have two unknown. One unknown will be here, one unknown will be here, and another unknown will be here. At C, the bending moment will be 0. So the number of unknown is at MAB, and number at A, that is MA, and another unknown will be MB, that is at C, at B, because I know at C the MC will be 0, MC will be 0. So the number, the redundancy or static indeterminacy are at A and at B. So at A this is MA, and at B this is MB. So we have to find out MA and MB. Okay, this we have to find out. Come to step 2. Here you have to draw the release structure. That means what are the structure you have given in the question, you have to separate the span. So I have drawn here, I have separated these two span, this is AB and this is BC, and applied AB and BC, and I have marked the coordinate direction. This is one coordinate direction, this is two coordinate direction. At B, at A, one coordinate direction, this will be clockwise. At B, this is two coordinate direction, this is clockwise. Okay, so in this way you have to mark the coordinate direction. At A it is 1, and at B it is 2. Okay, now bending moment diagram due to given load in the release structure is called free bending moment. Okay, this is release structure. From this continuous beam I have separated both the span. So this is release structure. In this release structure, if you apply an external load and if you draw the bending moment diagram, that bending moment diagram will be called free bending moment diagram. Okay, so in AB span, if you apply that uniformly distributed load, the maximum ordinate will be WL square by 8. Uniformly distributed load, the maximum ordinate will be WL square by 8, and for in case of point load, the maximum ordinate will be WL by 4. Okay, so in AB maximum ordinate WL square by 8. So WL 8, you put all the value, you will get 120 kilonewton meter, that is parabolic shape. And in case of BC, the maximum ordinate will be WL by 4. So you put the value and you will get 75 kilonewton meter, and this will be triangular shape. Okay, so next step is third step, draw the conjugate beam. So here I have drawn the M by EI diagram. This is M by EI diagram. So in this M by EI diagram, you have to calculate the reaction RA, RB1, RB2 and RC. This is RB1 and B2 because these are same joint. So that's why I have given this name. So RA equals to RB1 equals to the area of this parabola, that is 2/3 of length. This is 4, this is 3. Okay, so 2/3 into L into M by EI, 2/3 into L into M by EI I calculated in the previous step, that is 120 by EI divided by 2 equals to 160 by EI. Similarly, RB2 equals to RC equals to half into base into altitude. So base is 3 and altitude is 75 by EI, and divided by 2 you get 56.25 by EI. So you have calculated all the reactions. Now you have to find out what is RA, what is now you have to find out delta 1L and delta 2L. Okay, these are required to form the force matrix. So delta 1L means RA, equals to 160 by EI. Delta 2L means RB1 plus RB2, that is 160 EI, that is RB1 how much, 160 by EI, and RB2 is how much, 56.25 EI. So if you add this, you will get 216.25 EI. Okay, now we will do step number 5, development of flexibility method. So what we will do, we will separate these two span AB and span BC. So I have drawn here span AB separately and span BC separately. Then we will apply unit force in each coordinate direction. This is one coordinate direction, this is two coordinate direction. So in each coordinate direction we will apply unit force, and we will observe what is the resultant reaction in each coordinate direction. So here I have written, to find out the flexibility matrix, a unit force is applied in each of the coordinate direction. That means in one coordinate direction we will apply unit force, and we will see the reaction at one coordinate direction and two coordinate direction. Again we will apply unit force in two coordinate direction. Then also we will observe what is the reaction at one coordinate direction and two coordinate direction separately, and the resulting displacement in coordinate direction are found. That means we are applying unit force at one coordinate and calculating the resulting force in one and two coordinate direction. Next step, we are applying unit force in two coordinate direction, and we will see what is the effect in one coordinate direction and two coordinate direction separately. Okay, that's why I have drawn two separate figures. So you have to draw two separate figures. Okay, next, applying unit force. This is first step. Applying unit force in coordinate direction 1, the resulting bending moment diagram as follows. This is figure A and this is figure B. Okay, figure A is showing the bending moment diagram after applying the unit force in one coordinate direction. Okay, and if you divide this bending moment, you will get M by EI diagram. Figure B is representing the M by EI diagram. So divided by EI value is shown in figure B. If you divide this moment, you will get M by EI diagram. So in this M by EI diagram, you have to calculate the reaction at support A and support B. Okay, to form the flexibility matrix, you need this flexibility coefficient or element of the flexibility matrix. So what are the element of the flexibility matrix, and what will be the order of the flexibility matrix? Just see here, degree of static indeterminacy you have to calculate in the first step. So degree of static indeterminacy we calculated 2 in the first step. So the order of the flexibility matrix will be 2 by 2. Whatever the degree of static indeterminacy you calculate, the order of the flexibility matrix will be that much. That means if it is 2, then it will be 2 by 2 matrix. So flexibility matrix I can write F11, F12, F21, F22. In this way you have to write the flexibility matrix. Okay, this is 2 by 2 matrix. Okay, so first you have to find out F11 and F21. How will you calculate? Delta 11 is representing the reaction at point 1 due to applied unit force at coordinate direction 1. Delta 21 representing the reaction at point 2 due to applied unit force at coordinate system 1. Here this first term and second term is representing where you are calculating or reaction point. And second position number representing the applied load point. Applied load point. Okay, always remember this first position number representing the reaction point where you are calculating the reaction or deformation, and second positional number is representing the point where you applied the unit force. Okay, so delta 11 means you have applied unit force at one position and you are calculating the reaction at one position. That means here you have applied unit force and here you are calculating reaction. So here what will be the reaction? First slide I have shown you how to calculate the reaction. This is RA and this will be RB. So RA, how will you calculate? This will be half into altitude, half into base into altitude. Altitude is 1 upon EI into, while you are calculating RA, just multiply this distance. This is 2/3, and while you calculate RB, you multiply 1/3. Okay, so multiplied by 2/3, you will get this much. Next, 2:1 means the deformation or reaction at point 2 due to applied unit load at point 1. So I have applied unit force at one coordinate direction and I will calculate the reaction at point 2. This is point 2. This is point 2. So this is also point 2. So what will be the reaction at point 2? That means RB I have to calculate. So RB equals to half into base into altitude into, while you are calculating RB, multiply 1/3. So I will multiply 1/3. So in this way I can calculate delta 11 and delta 12. Okay, this is 4/3 and this is 2/3 EI. Okay, now I will apply unit force at two coordinate direction. Here I have applied unit force at two coordinate direction. This arrow is opposite to each other, but don't confuse it. This is the rule, you have to draw this arrow. Okay, this arrow will be in this direction and this arrow will be in this direction. Okay, so this is two coordinate direction. In two coordinate direction I will apply unit force. This is the bending moment diagram. In figure C I have drawn the bending moment diagram, and in figure D I have drawn the M/EI diagram. So this is 1 upon EI. This is also the maximum ordinate is 1 upon EI. So what I shall calculate? I shall calculate the reaction at point 1 due to unit applied force at point 2. Okay, in the other word, reaction at point 1 due to unit applied force in two coordinate direction, reaction at point 2 due to unit applied force at two coordinate direction. Okay, so delta 12 will be reaction at point 1 due to unit applied force at two coordinate direction, and delta 22 is reaction at point 2 due to unit applied force at two coordinate direction. So I will calculate delta 12. That means I have applied unit force in two coordinate direction and I will calculate the reaction at one coordinate direction. So here I have to calculate the reaction. What will be the reaction at this point? The reaction will be half. This is 4 meter, this is 3 meter. Okay, so reaction at this point, one coordinate direction, will be half into base into altitude into how much? I am calculating RA, so I have to multiply 1/3. So I will multiply 1/3. Okay, next I have to calculate delta 22. That means at this point I have to calculate the reaction. So due to this triangle, due to both the triangle, I have to calculate reaction. So first I will calculate this RAB1, next I will calculate RAB2. For both the triangle I have to calculate the reaction. So delta 22 means the reaction at second coordinate direction due to unit applied force at two coordinate direction. Okay, so what will be the reaction at this point? It will be half. At this point I am calculating, so half into base is 4 meter into altitude is 1 upon EI multiplied by, you are calculating RA, so you have to multiply this 2/3 length, so I will multiply 2/3 length. Okay, next you have to calculate RAB2, so again half into base is 3 meter, this is 4 meter but this is 3 meter, so keep it mind and be sincere while you are writing the base. This is 4 meter but this is 3 meter. Okay, keep it mind, while you are calculating RAB1 the base will be 4 meter, while you are calculating RAB2 the base will be 3 meter. Okay, so half into base into altitude into 1 upon EI, and you are calculating RB2, so you have to multiply 2/3, so multiplied by 2/3. So this is your delta 1 delta 1 2 and delta 2 2. So delta 1 2 will be 2/3 of EI, and this will be 7/3 EI. Okay, the next step is step number 5, development of final displacement vector. Final displacement vector is delta. So the final displacement vector at 1 and 2 coordinate direction will be 0. Why? Because one coordinate direction is fixed and 2 coordinate direction is also fixed. It is roller support, but it cannot move either vertically or horizontally. It is roller support, it could move horizontally, because horizontally it cannot resist the displacement, but due to this fixed support it cannot move horizontally and it cannot also vertically. So this 2 coordinate direction cannot move either horizontally or vertically, and due to this is fixed support it cannot move vertically or horizontally. So hence the displacement vector delta equals to 0 0, means ultimately they cannot move in either direction, so it will be 0 0. Okay, if the settlement will occur at B or any other point or at A, then you could consider that suppose at B point some settlement is there, so and A point there is no settlement, then displacement vector would be, here it is 0 settlement, so 0, and here it is 10 mm settlement, so 10 mm means 0.01 meter, so settlement is downward direction, so it will be minus 0.01. So this will be the final displacement vector. So finally, what are the movement of the coordinate direction that will be representing in displacement vector? Since this A support or one coordinate direction is not moving and B coordinate direction is also not moving, that means final displacement is 0. That's why in this case the displacement vector will be 0 0. Okay, so while there is no any settlement term is present in the question, then you can consider the settlement vector delta equals to 0 0. If in the question is given the settlement occurred at B support or C support, then according to that you have to form the displacement vector. In this support there is no displacement, so this is 0. In this support there is a displacement of 10 mm, so 10 mm means 0.01 meter. Okay, and this is downward direction, so this will be minus, so here the delta will be minus 0.01 and displacement vector will be 0 minus 0.01. Okay, so come to this point, we will consider this is 0, this will be our displacement vector delta. Okay, so stiffness matrix for equation, next step is step number 6, stiffness matrix equation. We know F into R equals to delta minus delta L. F we calculated, this is the F 2 by 2 matrix, that is flexibility matrix. F is our flexibility matrix and all the elements we have calculated in the earlier steps. R matrix is MA and MB, we are going to calculate at one coordinate direction it will be MA, and at 2 coordinate direction so it will be MB. So the unknown are MA and MB that we are going to calculate, equals to delta that is displacement vector 0 0 minus delta L, we calculated in the earlier step, it is 160 by EI and 216.25 by EI. Okay, so if you subtract this from this, you will get minus 60 and minus 216.25, and I have taken this EI outside. Here also I have taken this EI outside, so that this you can cancel this EI. Okay, so we have this matrix into this matrix equals to this matrix. Now matrix calculation we will do. MA and MB I have written here, and I will bring this matrix in right side. So you have to write this matrix inverse. So this matrix inverse into this matrix will give you this value. So MA equals to minus 85.875 and MB equals to minus 68.25. So in this way you can calculate the MA and MB. After that you have to calculate the support reaction, then you have to draw the bending moment diagram. So next step will be your 7, support reaction. Support reaction, if it is asked that form the stiffness matrix, then you have to calculate up to step number 4. That means once you get the stiffness matrix, you can stop the calculation. Only if it is asked form the stiffness matrix, then up to formation of stiffness matrix you have to stop. Otherwise, if anybody asks, if in question it is asked that analyze the continuous beam, then you have to do all these steps including support reaction, including BMD. This is step number 8. Okay, so up to this you have to calculate. So the bending moment diagram will be, first you draw the fixed end moment minus 85 point, here it is minus 85 point, here it is minus 85.87, then here it is minus 68.25, then it will be 0, because at end support, since this is roller, so the bending moment will be 0. Then you draw the free end moment, since this is UDL, so the free end moment will be parabolic shape, and since this is point load, so free bending moment will be like a triangle. Okay, so this is a bending moment diagram you have to draw. This is negative, this is positive, this is negative, this is negative, this is positive. So in this way you can form the stiffness matrix and calculate the fixed end moment. So what we did in flexibility matrix, first you have to calculate the maximum ordinate of the M by EI diagram, then you have to calculate the element of the stiffness matrix, then you have to form the displacement vector, then you write the flexibility matrix equation, that is F into R equals to delta minus delta L, then you separately calculate delta L, then you write all the value of this matrix, then you after matrix solution you will get the fixed end moment MA and MB, or whatever the unknown is given in the question. Then you have to, in this way you have to calculate the unknown reactions of the given beam. Okay, so we have second problem with support settlement. You have to solve this problem using flexibility matrix. So the question is, analyze the continuous beam shown in figure A. This is a figure A. In this figure a continuous beam is given, and in this continuous beam the support B and support C settle down with 10 mm and 5 mm respectively. That means support B settle down 10 mm and support C settle down 5 mm. First I will convert this millimeter to meter. So 10 mm means 0.01 meter and this is 0.005 meter. Okay, now let's solve the problem. So what I told in the last problem, if in the question settlement term is given, the entire problem will be same except step number 5. In step number 5 only you have to consider the effect of settlement. So in step number 5 you have to modify a little, that is, while you are forming the final displacement vector, this displacement vector delta will be depending upon the settlement at different position. So in the question given that B support settled 0.01 mm and C support settled 0.005 mm and A support settles 0, it is not given, that is A support settles 0. So the displacement vector will be 0, this is 0.01, this is 0.005, as this is downward directional settlement, so it will be minus, it will be minus. So this is your final displacement vector, and rest of the calculation will be as same as the previous problem. Okay, so if it is asked that the B support moved in upward direction and C support also moved in upward direction, so this will be positive, this will be positive, as it settled down in downward direction, so that's why I have considered negative, this is also negative. So this phenomena you have to keep in mind. Okay, so I hope you have enjoyed today's class and you can solve the flexibility matrix and you can analyze the continuous beam using flexibility matrix with support settlement and also stiffness matrix with support settlement. Thank you for attending my classes.